Hello, party guests. I am back and super excited because the Olive Garden may or may not be my favorite restaurant, but today we are going to make a Copycat zuppa Toscana soup, which gives you me the opportunity to show off our slow cooker. So if you're not familiar with Pampered Chef slow cooker, you guys, this is called the Rock Crock and the slow cooker base. Now the Rock Crock is a pot that is made out of clay. It is heat safe to 752 degrees, you guys. So this can go on the stove top. It can go in the oven. It can go in the dishwasher. It can go fridge, freezer, microwave. It can go on the grill. It can go on a campfire. This pan can go anywhere. So I am literally going to be able to start my soup on the stove top with browning the sausage and then move it to the slow cooker to continue cooking once I've got my ingredients in. So I'm going to grab my sausage and be right back. All right, you guys, so I have got my ground sausage here in my Rock Crock, and I've just got my mix and chop. Now, if you're not familiar with this tool, you guys, this is my most popular item. I have sold more mix and chops in my 3 years of being a consultant as I have sold anything else, like way more mix and chops than anything else. But as your meat is browning, you just use the mix and chop to chop it up, you guys. But I also use this, my little one, he loves to make banana bread, so we'll use the mix and chop to mash up the bananas. You can use it to mash up potatoes for mashed potatoes. All types of things, you guys. So once my sausage is browned, I will show you the next step. So I have got my ground sausage all cooked up, and I'm going to meet you over at my counter for my next step. And I am not the world's best cook, you guys. So when I opened my onion and it was green, I had to phone a friend and make sure I wasn't gonna die. But I am told that when an onion turns green like that, it means it's aging, which is interesting to me because I just got it on my grocery order yesterday. But anywho, this recipe only needs half an onion, so I'm gonna use the white part of the onion. So this here is my utility knife, you guys, from the Coated Knife set. It comes in a set of 6 knives, all different ones, a chef's knife, all these knives you could use, a paring knife as well, bread knife, and they all have these nice sleeves. So you could store them in a drawer without worrying about anybody getting their fingers chopped off. But I am going to dice up my onions in the Twist and Chop, which is one of Pampered Chef's appliances that was new to our line last fall. So you can pulse like this, you guys, or you can run it and the blades go up and down. No, I don't want to totally pulverize my onions, so I'm going to pause it and stop for a second. But the blades move up and down. So if you were making salsa or something like that, you don't have to worry that you're going to end up with big chunks at the bottom and only the top diced up. The blades move up and down so that you get even chopping. And I commonly use this for turning graham crackers into graham cracker dust if I'm making a pie crust or something like that. But I am going to throw the onion right into my slow cooker. You see, I put the pan right from the stove into the base. Easy peasy. The next step calls for 4 russet potatoes peeled and diced. And you guys, I feel like the Olive Garden leaves the skin on. Maybe it's just me, but I've got 6 potatoes because some of my potatoes today are kind of itty bitty. So I'm just going to chop them up. Again, I've just got my Pampered Chef utility knife here. I'm going to chop them up into little bitty pieces here so that I can toss them into my soup. But yes, I will dice up all 6 and be back. So just for the record, I ended up with about 4 cups of diced russet potatoes. All right, so what do I have here for ingredients, you guys? I've got my 4 cups of potatoes. I've got a half of an onion. I've got a tablespoon of garlic. I've got a teaspoon of salt. I did just half a teaspoon of pepper. And then I've got my ground up cooked sausage. So my last ingredient here before we start things up is 4 cups of chicken broth or stock, whatever you have. I think stock is usually recommended, but that is not what was available at the store for me yesterday. Getting this all stirred up. And then I'm going to show you one of my favorite features of our slow cooker because it is called the digital slow cooker base for a reason. So when you go down here, you guys, you can choose low, high, or warm. And a lot of slow cookers will default to 8 hours on low. I went the wrong way. Versus 4 hours on high. But you guys, with ours, I'm going to select high. And then you can choose whatever time you want. So I'm gonna do 3.5 hours on high, you guys, and then when that is done, I have to add the cream and the other ingredients. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that. And then you guys, once this is done cooking on high for 3.5 hours, it's gonna beep at me, and then it's gonna flip to warm. And it's gonna stay warm for 4 hours, you guys. And if for some reason I were to leave the house and forget about this darn thing, after the warming cycle is done, it's gonna turn off. So then you don't have to worry about burning your house down in your absence. Awesome safety feature. I will be back in 3.5 hours. All right, you guys, so it has been 3.5 hours cooking on high, and I am back. And so I am going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And then it says 1 bunch of kale chopped with the stems removed. Now I have a big old bag of kale, so I'm gonna call this 1 bunch. Does that look like 1 bunch? I'm gonna stir this in, and then it says to cook for another half an hour. So yeah, I'll see you again. So there you have it, you guys, my Olive Garden Copycat Zuppa Toscana.